Hello and welcome to this session of Studio from Home with the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. My name is Aiden Gillis and I'm the Indigenous Arts Programmer at the gallery, and I'm going to show you a fun and simple art activity you can do from home inspired by techniques used in weaving Mi'kmaq baskets. For step-by-step instructions for this as well as other art activities, please visit the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia's website, and we would love to see what you made as well, so please share your photos and tag us on social media. Today I'm going to show you how to create a weave paper square out of construction paper. This activity is based on the artwork Weave Kolkek Jikjik by Margaret Johnson from the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia's permanent collection, created in 1997 with strips of black ash wood and sweetgrass. In this work you'll notice strips of wood are woven together to create a sturdy square form. To create these strips, ash tree logs are pounded in firm, repetitive motion to cause the internal rings of the wood to separate from one another. These layers are pulled off and turned into strips. We can see this technique used in the Mi'kmaq instrument called the Jikamakan as well, played by tapping it on your palm or your knee. If this piece of wood were to be pounded more, the handle would break apart as well, and I can make a small basket out of it. For our activity, we're going to use materials we have at home to practice weaving. So we'll be using paper instead of wood. To do this activity at home, you're going to need construction paper, glue, scissors, a ruler, and a pencil. I have my space set up like this. If you don't have a certain material, you can improvise. For example, decorating pieces of standard computer paper with markers or colored pencils instead of using construction paper. I would advise against crayons for this activity just because glue has a harder time sticking to that wax. So alright, let's begin. To prepare for our weaving, we'll need to create our own strips. In basket weaving, all of the strips need to be the same size on one side as they are on the other. To do this, I measure and mark each piece of paper on both sides with tiny nicks 1 inch apart and draw a line across the paper to connect them. After all these lines are drawn, I'll cut them with scissors. In the end, you should have 14 strips of 1 by 8.5 inches, 4 strips of a half an inch by 8.5 inches, and 2 to 3 smaller strips of a 1/4 inch by 8.5 inches. Lay down your first row of vertical strips on a horizontal strip, side by side at a 90-degree angle. Alternate between placing them on top of the strip and the bottom, with no gaps in between. You'll want the short end to meet the edge so that everything lines up and we keep our pieces straight. If you glue your first row of strips together at the beginning, this will build a stronger foundation for when you're weaving. Otherwise, all your pieces will slide around while you're trying to work. Wait for this to dry before continuing with the next step. Continue by weaving a horizontal strip throughout the vertical strips you just glued down. To weave, you'll want to start at the top and then go down below and then come back up through the top again. Continue this pattern until you reach the end of your row. For the third row, you'll want to do the same technique in the opposite way. Start below and then come through the top, then go below once again. You don't need to glue down where the inside pieces cross over each other because you might want to actually weave other materials through that later. At the end, you'll want to glue down all the edge pieces to secure your weave. Cut off any excess pieces that are sticking out of the sides. To create another dimension, I add thinner strips on the top of thicker strips by sliding them into place. To finish off your edges, we're going to create a border. Take one of your half-inch strips and bend it in half lengthwise by placing it in the middle of the long edge of your ruler. Pinch the end of the paper down with your left pointer finger and thumb, and then with your right hand a few inches apart. Create a crease by pinching it as you go along slowly and smoothing it all out at the end. Slide your square into the crease and cut the border to fit. Now put glue on the inside of that piece and slide your square into place, pinching it as you go along. Do the last 2 steps 3 times to finish off your edges. The title of Margaret Johnson's piece, Wiskolkeg Jigjij, translates to periwinkles made from black ash wood. Jigjij is a technique of curling the strips of wood to create a design that resembles the periwinkle, which is where the name comes from. As a bonus tip in this video, I'll show you quickly how this is done. We would love to see what you created, so please share photos of your work on social media and tag us so that other people can see your creations as well. And thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for more lessons on Sundays from Studio from Home with the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia.